My life is permanently changed. Anyways. Oh, you guys, hold on to your fucking panties or something, because I had one of the best reading months in so long, and I am so excited to go through my wrap up for, what was the month? October. Also, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for being here. I'm not really sure why you're here, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Today we're going through the 13 books I read in the month of August. And let me just say this, the change in quality of books between the end of this year and like the whole first half of this year, I am so proud of myself because we were just ripping through 1-star books. And now I'm just, wow. I had a great reading month. Also, can I just say this? 3 of the books that I read were over 1,000 pages, okay? 2 of them were 1,300 pages. So can we petition, if a book is 1,000 pages, can we somehow count that on Goodreads as 2 books at least? Because what? Anyway, we are having an orange and cream Coke Zero. I'm gonna be so honest. This flavor is so mid. I do not recommend it, but it was on sale. Also, round of applause for me. We had no 1-stars this month. We did have a 2-star, but no 1-stars. So we started this month off with a fucking bang, a depressing one, okay? We read Alchemized. I have my full reading vlog up of this. It's mostly me crying and crashing out. This was 6 stars. This is one of my new favorite books of all time. This is one of my new favorite reads of the year. This is God tier. This will stick with me forever. Okay, so many people ask me if I read Manacled before I read Alchemized. I have not read Manacled, and I think I might. I've had Manacled legally downloaded before it was taken off AO3 for a 1.5 years now, and it's just sitting there. I don't know if I'm gonna read it. I am so happy I read Alchemized on its own and let it stand on its own. This was absolutely incredible. Now, this is dark fantasy. I mean, I'm sure you've probably seen Alchemized everywhere. The romance is a huge plot throughout the whole book, but the romance is not your typical romance. It is very agonizing and painful, and it is 2 people in the middle of wartime experiencing absolute tragedies. This book is so dark, so please check your trigger warnings, but how Senlin Yu depicted wartime and just the raw grittiness of it. A lot of scenes were hard to read, but I personally think that's the point of it. I loved the magic system in this. It's alchemy-based magic, which is like one of my favorite magic systems. The parallels between the political system in this book and our government in the political system in the real world were genius. This hurt me so much. Helena and Cain like own a piece of my soul. I cried so much reading this, but it was also like a work of art. I thought a lot of people like ask, is it a happily ever after? It's not a traditional happily ever after. I think the ending is very bittersweet. After everything they go through, it's not possible to have like a happy ending. I felt hopeful and I felt good leaving with the ending, even though it hurt me so much. A lot of people will question if certain scenes are necessary, and I don't think the point is to ask, is this necessary? Tragic and disgusting and disturbing things happen, and it's how these characters move through this separately and together, and what they take from that, and how they grow from it, and how they digest really traumatic things that happen to them in such a dark world. I love Cain. I will protect him with my life. Him and Helena must be protected at all costs. I love this. I digress. Anyway, if you want to watch my vlog, you can. I literally can't stop thinking about it. Then after that, I was like, I need a second. I cannot cry. I need a second. I need to completely shift gears. So October, my plans were to start the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson, which I did. We'll get into that in a second. But another book that everyone said I had to read before I started The Way of Kings. There's a whole Cosmere reading order. There's a bunch of different ways to read it. It's honestly not too strict, but everyone did say I had to read Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson before I read the Stormlight Archive. So that is what we read after Alchemized. This book was phenomenal. This was so good. I'm like, why aren't more people talking about this? This is high fantasy. I went into it thinking it was a standalone. It's not a standalone, okay? Apparently Brandon Sanderson has plans within the next like decade to to possibly continue it. But it's not a standalone, let me tell you this. The ending was satisfying, but it leaves you wanting so much more. Like, you could see how he left it completely open to continue the story. This was amazing. I gave this 4.5 stars. This magic system is one of the most unique magic systems I've ever, I mean, Brandon Sanderson's magic systems are just elite. Like, I can't say that there's ever gonna be a magic system I read that will top his at this point. In this world, every single person is granted one divine breath. And with each breath you collect over time, the closer you get to being awakened. And when you're awakened, you're granted these like rare like senses and powers and abilities. I literally have a chart of this that like I was keeping organized of the magic system. But with each breath you gather, like, you reach different heightenings, and at those heightening levels are the powers that you're granted. And this follows two princess sisters, Vivenna and Ciri. Ciri is sent to their rival kingdom to marry the God King, and Vivenna sets out to save her because she thinks she's in danger. And it was initially Vivenna who was betrothed to the God King her whole life. So they kind of like switched roles. And just like classic Brandon Sanderson, there's more characters, and every single character is so good. I love the way he writes characters. All of his books are so character driven. They're so unique. They have like such different personalities. You'll get comedic relief, like you get super invested in their background. There's so much more going on than I just explained to you, but I think with what I said is enough because there's so many like plot twists and betrayals, and I was not expecting to be so obsessed with this. This was like almost 700 pages and I read it in 2 days. It was so addicting. It was so good. There's also a little romance subplot that I was obsessed with. This was so good. Wow. All right, bitch. Then what did we do after that? We dove into the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. We read The Way of Kings. Guys, my life is permanently changed. Once you start your Brandon Sanderson journey, and if it sticks with you, if like his writing and just the way he puts together stories and how he writes his characters, and if it sits with you, there's no turning back. I am so in this Cosmere, it's not even funny. We read The Way of Kings. I gave this 4.5 stars. Phenomenal. Okay, if you're gonna, here's the thing. Mistborn, the Mistborn trilogy, I can explain to you. I mean, granted, I read the whole thing, so it's easier to explain a series once it's completed. And I can do that. I could give you bits and pieces to get you excited. I have only read the first 2 books in this series, and I read a novella. There's like, I think 5 or 6 books out, and it's gonna be a 10-book series. There is so much that I don't know about the magic system, that I don't know about these characters, that I don't know about the world. Like, there is so much I do not know. I literally cannot explain to you what's going on accurately without spoiling anything. I could explain the magic system and I could explain certain parts of the character, but I would spoil things. I went into this knowing that it's high fantasy. I knew that it's a slower pacing in the beginning. I knew that you have to trust the process, the world building, heavy. There are a lot of moving pieces. People describe The Way of Kings as a big prologue, as like a 1,200 page prologue to the series, which I completely agree with. And that does not make it a bad book. Again, I gave it 4.5 stars. That is the unique thing about Brandon Sanderson. One of the reasons why I love him so much as an author is his books are slower pacing, but they are phenomenal and you wouldn't have it any other way. Like, how he lays the groundwork, sets the stage for the series is absolutely genius. I still have so many questions. Asking the questions and not knowing what's going on is part of the journey of Brandon Sanderson books. And one of the best parts about this series, especially Stormlight Archive, I think is the not knowing and the questioning and theorizing as you go, because you are just smacked in the face once things start to come together, and they do. And you're like, oh my God. And then you're like, wait, I still have so many other, no, I can't, sorry. I'm getting so hyped up, but these characters, I will say Kaladin, an MMC in this, he's one of my new favorite MMCs. He is this, if you like a sad boy character, saddest sad boy with the most aura. Even though Brandon Sanderson's books are slower pacing, his action and battle scenes are so vivid and just will have you hanging on the edge of your seat. The last 200 pages of a Brandon Sanderson book is called The Sanderlanche, because it's just boom, boom. Like, you are just gag after gag after gag. It smacks you in the face. I can't even speak. It's just, oh, it's so good. It's so good. There is a romance little subplot, because here's the thing, when people ask like in high fantasy, is there romance? It's not a romantasy. There's not like a romance plot, but there are romantic relationships, because in life, characters have romantic relationships. So that's a part of all of Brandon Sanderson's books. Anyway, we read The Way of Kings, which I gave 4.5 stars. I didn't give it 5 stars just because, again, slower pacing took me a bit to get into, but it was amazing. Words of Radiance, book 2, 6 stars. 6 stars. One of the best fantasy book I think I've ever read. This was, no, I cannot explain it. How these characters level up in terms of their power, the plot reveals, and just I'm like sitting here jumping up and down during certain scenes. Like, I'm like, let's go. Like, I'm ready to go, and just freaking out. Like, just so invested in it and feeling like your life depends on what happens, and just needing to know. Like, Words of Radiance was like 1,300 pages, and I'm just ripping through it, and it's so good. Oh my God, no, these characters, I'm terrified. I'm terrified because no one's safe. People are gonna die. Brandon Sanderson is gonna unalive your favorite characters. Get used to that, okay? I do think, since reading like really high stakes books the end of this year, literally having to say goodbye to some of my favorite characters of all time, like, has completely changed me as a reader of romantasy specifically, in terms of what's going to just absolutely ruin me. Like, if I read a book and it ends on a cliffhanger but no one dies, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Happy ending. Anyway, Words of Radiance, I gave 6 stars. Then we read the novella, which was Edge Dancer. And I think it was like a 200-something page novella. I gave that 4 stars. Loved it. Loved the characters. And then I paused because these books are so thick and I don't want to burn myself out. So I'm going to finish the series. That's what most of November is going to be. Oh my God. Oh my God. Then we read one of my new favorite romance books. Okay, Nightshade. Oh my God. 5 stars. Oh, no, I cannot stop thinking about this book. This is going to be a duology. So book 2 comes out next year. We just got a release. So I think it comes out next June. Okay. Oh my God. I am obsessed with this. I cannot even. I'm so giddy when I think about it. So this is dark academia. It's also murder mystery. We have a little bit of a suspense plot line. Okay. Our FMC Ophelia, she goes to Sarosong University because she's trying to figure out what happened to her dead parents. Both of her parents died in a helicopter crash that was set up by this university, and she never got any answers. It's been years, but she does know the man that owns the helicopter company, and she knows that he was involved in some way. So she goes to this school to try and get answers. This is the perfect spooky fall read. Oh, the fall vibes and the atmosphere, like the world. Oh my goodness. Like, I loved it so much. And this university is like an old castle, and it's where all of the elite and like super wealthy, famous, but also very dangerous people go. So she's very out of place there. But the man that she thinks was responsible for her parents' death is the father of the love interest, Alex Corbo Green. So as you can see, we have a little bit of a predicament here. And Alex Corbo Green, that man is the standard. He is one of my new favorite contemporary romance book boyfriends, MMCs. I am obsessed with this man. You want yearning, the yearning from him will actually stab you in the chest. Yearning and longing and pining, and this man is so broken. Your heart will hurt so much for him. The mental health representation from him was amazing. He also draws. This man literally draws her. He literally draws her. He wears glasses. He has thigh tattoos, and he also has his mom and his how many sisters does he have? 5 or 6 sisters that he takes care of, all of them, because his father is absolutely awful and abusive, and just his home life is so upsetting. He also struggles a lot with depression and like suicidal ideation, and that representation is amazing. His love for Ophelia will have you gut. I highlighted like literally every single page of this book. Like, I could not handle myself. The ending cliffhanger, diabolical, will gut you like a fish. I cried, and I was not expecting to cry. Oh, Ophelia also has a stalker at this school. So the suspense aspect there is so good. I'm convinced that the author of this sat down and was like, who is Mariana's perfect bookman, and gave me Alex. The banter in this, they flirt through crosswords, and she won't give him her number, so he emails her and flirts with her through email. This is what I want from romance. And also it having such a good, engaging plot. This was perfect. And how he takes care of her, like he brushes her hair and braids her hair, like, I have some quotes that I wrote down. Ophelia feels like finding another human after months in the desert, a light permeating the thick black cloud. When my wayward mind wanders, it staggers back home to her. Forget dying for her. I'd live for her. I feel like I could overcome all the darkness inside if only it meant I'd get a life in her company in return. Anyways. Oh, and then you guys, after that, after those hefty fantasy books, I was like, you know what we need? We need dark mafia romance. That is what we need. One of my most anticipated releases of the year, Sinners Atone, came out this month. It is the 4th book in the Sinners Anonymous series, one of my favorite dark mafia romance series. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna reread this series for the 3rd time in preparation for Sinners Atone, okay? Best decision I ever made. Best decision I ever made. Okay. Book 1, Sinners Anonymous. This book, I gave it 4 stars like my first 2 times around. This time around, 4.5. Each book follows the Visconti brothers, and they're all in the Italian mafia. Books 2 and 3 follow Rafe and Penny. Book 1 follows Rory and Angelo. And then book 4 follows Ren and Gabe, and they're also gonna have a duet as well. They're gonna have a 5th book. Sinners Anonymous, like I just said, 4.5 stars. I can't. The Visconti brothers, something about them. This is so good. This is age gap, and she is engaged to his uncle. So it's also forbidden romance, and she's engaged to his like gross, sleazy uncle for reasons that you will find out. And this man, how down bad he is for her. Something about a dark mafia romance MMC, elite. Like, I just can't even explain it. Even when it comes to dark romance, certain things mafia men do would make me cringe if it's done in a dark romance. I just feel like dark mafia romance specifically, I mean, it's my favorite subgenre of dark romance. When it's done right, no, I can't. She writes the best slow burns, like so much tension. Oh, so good. Okay, and then my favorite books, Sinners Condemned and Sinners Consumed, Rafe and Penny, one of my favorite fictional couples ever. Rafe Visconti, also in my top 15 fictional men. This man. Both of these books, 5 stars. One of my favorite mafia romance stories ever. She walks him like a dog. She is such a bad bitch. Like, I also have a crush on her, and he is just so down bad. If you want to see a man grovel, like get on his knees so pathetically for her, he's her boss. Age gap. She works on his yacht, the yacht that he lives on. So when you're in his head, and their banter back and forth and just how they go at it back and forth, I giggle and kick my feet the whole entire time. This deadly mafia man, okay, literally picks her up every single night with a pillow and blanket in the back of his car so that she can sleep in the back of his car because she has trauma, so she cannot sleep at home, but she can sleep in the car. So he just drives around aimlessly all night. Will stop, like do work, take emails in the car while she's sleeping. He'll bring her favorite food. Like, I'm sorry, this man, while he was groveling, paid her $100 for every single kiss. She was like, hey, I want a Birkin bag in this, and this color. He's like, yeah, say less. This man only drinks whiskey because he hates the taste of vodka. Okay, but she told him, I'm not going to kiss you if I could taste whiskey on your lips. So he switched to drinking vodka. I love him. I love him so much. I'm obsessed with them. No, I'm obsessed. I also love the found family in this too. Okay, and then getting into Sinners Atone. Now listen, this was the new release. This book, I think the majority of reviews I've seen on this, people hated it. And I think one of the things that can happen, there was a long period of time waiting for this book. It's been years and people have been really excited about it, formulating their own theories about Gabe and Ren. And like in these cases, like expectations can really hinder a person's experience. So I went in this with no expectations, which I completely recommend. I also knew the author said this is different from the other books and it's super slow burn. There's no spice in this book. They don't even kiss, which I loved, but the tension was so thick. I felt like I was going to combust. Now, this is Grumpy Sunshine, and it's Grumpy Sunshine done so well. Okay, this man, Gabe must be protected at all costs. So I would say this book is where you learn so much about these characters, especially Gabe. He has so much trauma and there's so much darkness in him, and he's the one who unalives everyone. He's also a true psychopath. And in the very beginning, we find out that Gabe and Ren saves his life 3 years ago, and then they never speak to each other. But 3 years later, she sees him. This man has been trying to forget about her for 3 years. Every time he thinks about her, he makes one of his men beat him up so that he stops thinking about her. But his obsession with her is insane, and he like cannot stay away from her. He's just constantly making up reasons why he needs to be around her. So he's like teaching her how to defend herself and like always showing up at her home, and the banter between these two. And she's like, oh my God, you literally have a crush on me. He's like, what do you mean? No. She's like definitely got a bit of crazy in her as well. And I cannot wait for book 2, the cliffhanger. I'm like, it did feel, I gave it 4 stars. It was too short. I felt like we should have had more in book 1, or I do feel like depending on how book 2 goes, like it probably could have, it was only like 300 pages. It could have been one big book, but I thought it was so good, and their dynamic, and I loved it. But I understand why people didn't like it, because I will say, like, not much happened, but I was just giggling and having so much fun, but not much happened. So I totally understand why people are like, what, that was it? I didn't care. Okay, then we read Exorcism of Fairies, and this was one of the books that was on my fall TBR that Bailey picked out for me. And this started out really good, and it started to fall flat for me like the last 30%. I gave this 3.5 stars. For me, 3.5 stars, like I liked it. I would definitely recommend it. I just kind of lost interest at that like 70% mark, and it started to get predictable. Anyways, this is set in early 90s Scotland, and our FMC, she is a mortician. She works at the morgue, and there's this plague going around, and she is trying to study this plague, and she sends the bodies to this secret society. So you have secret society, this is dark academia, gothic romance. Oh, the spooky gothic vibes are so good. And she is the TA of our MMC. So it's kind of like professor student. She's a PhD student. So yeah, it is professor student, but not like the taboo type of relationship. But this man is so fine for what, I don't know. It was definitely a little bit insta-lusty, but not really bad. I really liked their dynamic. I liked their relationship. I was way more invested in the plot than the romance, but the romance I still felt like was really good. But once I started to be like, oh, this is gonna happen with the plot, I just lost a little bit of interest in it, but it was still so easy to read and so much fun. Oh my goodness, you guys! Then we read Bad Reputation. No, this book has such a special place in my heart. Like I literally cannot stop thinking about it. I was sobbing reading this. So Bad Reputation it follows characters from the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. Addicted Calloway Sisters series is god tier contemporary romance for me. That series, there's nothing quite like it. That found family, the romances, the relationships, like I feel like I'm a part of that friend group. I am so invested in them. The relationships and romances are messy. These characters are flawed. They all have so much depth to them. And it follows the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. We have the Addicted series that follows Lily and Lo, and they're like friends to lovers. And they also have like a fake relationship they have going on. And Lily is a sex addict, and Lo is an alcoholic. They're soulmates, like soulmate type love. And then the Calloway Sisters series, it's all interconnected. So there is a specific reading order that's at the beginning of each book that you should definitely follow. But that follows Lily's sisters. Rose and Connor have 2 books. Rose and Connor are my favorite. Their books are my favorite. Connor Cobalt is one of my favorite fictional men ever. Okay, and then Daisy and Reich, they have 2 books. Yeah! No, like I love them so much. And they're loaded. Like they are filthy rich. They're also famous. Like there's so much drama. If you like Gossip Girl type vibes, I would say you would definitely like this. They have their own reality TV show. They're going on all these trips. Like the found family is amazing, but it's so deep. Like the emotions you feel while reading it. Like this is why like reading Bad Reputation reminded me why contemporary romance just does not hit for me. Like it's so hard to feel like that from contemporary romance and feel the characters, like these characters are my family. But anyway, Bad Reputation follows Willow and Garrison, and they are 2 characters that come in kind of like at the halfway point in the series. I recommend reading Bad Reputation after Long Way Down, but there's also a like tandem read that you could do, but definitely read Addicted Calloway Sisters series first, because I think it makes it so much better. It takes place over events that happened during the Addicted Calloway Sisters series timeline, just from their perspective. And it has been a year and a half since I read that series, and being back in that world and with those characters, I couldn't stop crying. And then Willow and Garrison own my heart and soul. Their romance, they're also friends to lovers. She is like kind of like the nerdier, out of place, like quiet one, and he is more like has that like bad boy, like always getting into trouble, like has a really, really bad home life, has a lot of trauma, really struggling like mentally. Garrison struggles a lot with depression and like suicidal ideation. They find each other both at like turning points in their lives and they become best friends, and then you get them becoming lovers, and it's just how they're like how they care for one another, the trust they have in one another, and you just follow them through all the ups and downs of their lives, and they face all these hardships together, and they're navigating themselves and it's just like, it feels so real. These romances feel so real, and then you get to the end and you're like reading like wedding vows and you feel like you're sitting at the wedding of your best friend. I just couldn't stop crying. Anyway, romance, chef's kiss. This whole series, chef's kiss. This book, no, I can't. I still haven't read, there's an epilogue novel for Addicted Calloway Sisters series that I haven't read because I refuse to say goodbye. Okay, now last but not least, because it is the last day of October and I'm halfway through Wrath of the Fallen. So I'll count that towards September because I'll finish it. I'll count that towards November because I'm only halfway through and it's super long. So we ended the month with The Striker by Anna Huang. I ended up giving this 2 stars. Guys, I don't know what it is about Anna Huang's newer books. They just like don't really do it for me. This is her first sports romance series, and I found out that The Defender had just come out this month, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I want to be able to read that. Like, I want to read the series because I haven't read it yet. And the majority of Anna Huang books I do love. Her more recent ones haven't been my favorite though. And this one just, I don't know. It was brother's best friend. He plays football, so in America, soccer. This was so long with so little happening. It was also very insta-lust, like very much so. I didn't give it 1 star because there were moments where I did really like Asher, the MMC, and I like was really intrigued by him and he made me giggle. And like the spice was really good. Anna Huang writes the perfect amount of spice. I think she writes amazing spicy scenes. Their relationship, I just felt no connection towards them. And like the plot, like it just was so dragged out with so little happening for so much of this book. The chronic pain and disability rep you get from the FMC. Anna Huang did an amazing job with that, but I just did not feel connected to them as a couple. I just really struggled with that. So because it's a romance book, it was tough to get through. That was the only book this month I read that I was like, damn, I have to push through this. So all in all, an amazing month. As you could tell, I was really excited to talk about all these books, and now I'm really excited to go curl up with Wrath of the Fallen and get completely emotionally damaged and traumatized, and then suppress my feelings as much as possible. Those are my weekend plans. Anyway, go be horizontal, go get a sweet treat, go have a beverage, and ignore the outside world because nothing matters. It's also it's Halloween. You're not going to be watching this on Halloween, so actually never mind. I'm going to shut up now.